And we are live. On tonight's episode of Traditional Homemaker Live Q&A, we are going to get into what life is like for a traditional homemaker, Karen of This Mainer Mom. Karen's been a traditional homemaker for more than 30 years, so she has a lot to offer and a lot to say. But before we bring Karen on, if we're just meeting, I'm Denise Jordan, and I teach traditional homemaking for today's homemakers. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, then hit that subscribe button and double tap that little bell icon so you don't miss any of my content. And tonight's video is sponsored by Apron Diva. Pretty and practical, we believe that an apron can be a homemaker's best accessory. And here's the site for Apron Diva. You see me standing there in my favorite apron. You can see some of our modern collection items here. And here's one of our new items, our featured product, the Kinsey. And you see this sweet little girl there in her apron. And then we also have the Mom and Me collection, which people have been asking about. So this one, there's a mom and daughter set. This one, you can buy it individually. But that's Apron Diva. Okay, so there's that. And we are continuing our guest segments by welcoming people to this platform who have something to share regarding making and keeping a home. And tonight's guest is Karen from This Mainer Mom, and I think you will get great value from what she has to say. And I'm going to bring her on in just a second, but let's just see who's here and we'll say hello real quick. Well, I'll bring her on first so that she can also join in on the greetings. So I'm going to bring Karen on. And there she is. Hi, Karen.
Hi, Denise. It's so good to be here with you today.
I am just so glad you were able to join us. Thank you so much for taking your time to be with us. I have been looking forward to this all week.
Awesome.
Okay, so now let's take a peek at who's here. So over here, we've got Cinderella Fan. Hi, Cinderella. It is so good to have you with us. You're going to love Karen, unless she's already one of your subscribers.
Yes.
Is she one of yours?
She sure is. So hi, Cindy. It's so good to see you.
All right. I got a Cinderella too, but it's not this one. Okay, welcome, Cindy, to the TNT community. And hey, we've got Michelle from My Everyday Wife Life, one of our very good friends from our sister circle. So, hey, Michelle, thank you for being with us as well. And then here's one of my fans, one of my favorites, Flora 20. And I think Flora is in the UK, I believe, or is it Scotland? But she's saying good evening to everyone. Mary Cleveland. Hey, Mary, good to have you with us as well. You're going to love Karen.
Aw.
And Nicole Lee, she's saying good evening to me and you and all the homemaking family. And then there's Darcy from Organized by Darcy, Yolanda Walker, excuse me. And then Renee Hasty is here with us as well. My throat's getting dry already.
Renee is a dear friend of mine in real life. So hi, Renee.
Okay, well, good. You know what? It is so nice to have someone on a live stream that's a friend, someone that's there just to support you. So, you know, if nobody else asks you a question or knows you, you know, you got one person in your corner. Actually, you've got me, and now you've got Renee as well. And of course, you've got Michelle and Darcy there as well. So there's that. And they're greeting one another. Okay. Well, I am going to jump in because I have a lot of questions and I hope to get to them all. I'm going to just try to keep you on for an hour. So, Michelle, if you could help me stay on track with time, by 8:45, we want to be trying to wrap this up. So be sure and, you know, like Denise, you know, it's like you be checking that time. All right. So, Karen, how long have you been married?
I have been married almost 31 years. It'll be 31 years in August.
Okay. Nice long marriage. Good. And how many children do you have? And do you have any grandchildren?
I have 7 children from aging 14 up to 28 and 2 grandchildren. My grandson is 3 and my granddaughter is 7 months old.
Oh, aren't grandchildren wonderful?
Yes, amazing.
I used to hear people talk about grandkids all the time, and I'd be like, seriously, I've had a baby. Like, what is the big deal? But once you have your own grandchildren, it's like all of a sudden you understand what
Yes.
I'm talking about. Yeah, like they say, if I knew grandchildren would be so nice, I'd have had them first.
That's right.
All right, so now this is the question that I want to ask you. So, what was life like with 7 children at home? How did you keep it all together?
So the truth is, I didn't always keep it all together. I still don't always keep it all together. Now, Denise, we didn't get to talk about this, but my situation's a little unique because actually my oldest has never lived with us when I had 7 because
Okay.
we adopted 4 in 2012. And so he was in his first year of college. So the most I've ever had home at the same time was 6. So
Oh, okay.
I don't know if there's a big difference between 6 and 7, but
Probably not. Since the 7th one was a bit older. So
yeah.
okay. So but I like the fact that you said you didn't always keep it all together.
Yeah.
Can you expound on that just a little bit? Because I know there's going to be that homemaker out there. We've got 18 people on. So if I could get 18 thumbs up, that would be great. But there's going to be somebody out there who's watching all these YouTube videos and Pinterest and Instagram, and they're going to think all these women living the mom life have it all together. So could you just shed a little bit of light on that?
Absolutely, because in every day there's always things that you don't plan on. So you could have had a sick child all night and you're just so happy you got a shower that week, and that's going to be the time someone's going to stop by. And it's just really hard to give yourself grace in those earlier years and even in the later years. I mean, there are just so many things that happen in a day. And there are times when having a clean house is not supposed to be your first priority because there are more important things happening. And so we just have to give ourselves that grace. And I remember one time I had a friend who would come over and I always would feel badly if my house was a mess. And one day my husband said, what we're going to do for you is we're going to put a shovel beside the door. And if it's ever really messy and there's toys all around, you can just shovel your way to the couch. And honestly, it just took the pressure off. It's kind of like mentioning that elephant in the room and just giving yourself permission to be human.
So then what you're trying to say is that for all your years of homemaking, it wasn't always sunshine and rainbows and play dates in the sun?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So many stay-at-home moms get flack from family and friends about being at home. I've heard some women say that they were told, why are you just staying at home having babies? Why don't you get a job and help your husband? Or you've gotten an education. Why are you wasting it staying at home? Have you had any of those?
Yes, I definitely have. I would have to say that when I was younger and I was less confident in the choices that I made, those comments cut pretty deep. And I'm not saying they don't still cut deep today, although I don't get it as much. I think people after a time give up on you. I think that you have to give the world permission not to get you and to get your life. And you made those decisions with your husband for a reason. And you just have to be okay that not everyone is going to understand that. And I feel like the more I tried to defend myself, the worse it was. When I was confident in myself and I didn't even need to defend myself anymore, boy, it just got a whole lot easier.
Okay. So you do feel like there have been, do you feel like that there have been times in your life where you might have been dismissed or thought less of because you were a stay-at-home mom? And I find it interesting that we even have a term, stay-at-home mom.
Yeah.
We have to have a term that identifies whether you're staying at home or not. So, but have you ever felt people thought of you as less than because you didn't work outside the home?
I think that definitely happened. And I guess my encouragement would be that that says more about that person than it says about you. And I know a lot of working moms actually who think they're feeling who are very judged by stay-at-home moms. And
Yeah.
so I think it goes both ways.
I think you're right. I think we as women do that to each other. You've got the ones that are home some that may be judging those who are working outside the home, and those who are working outside the home who have gone through, a generation of women being in the home and being encouraged to get a job and that kind of thing. And so looking at those that stay home as less than. And then you have those people who are in the middle who feels like it's a choice as to whether or not they stay home or go out to work, or those that wish they could stay home, but
Right.
because of financial situations.
Yeah. And I think people who are insecure tend to be the ones who are judging because they're trying to validate themselves. And so I feel like the best you can do is step out of the whole thing and just say, you can make your choices and I've made mine and I'm comfortable with that.
Okay. So then do you have, well, that, I guess that's kind of like what you just said, but I was just wondering, so there's some young mom that's listening who's maybe newly pregnant, and her partner are trying to make the decision as to whether or not she's going to stay home with the baby or go out to work. Or maybe there's one with 2 or 3 little ones, and now that restrictions are lifting,
Mm-hmm.
and she's thinking, well, should she go out to work or go back to work or stay at home with her littles? What advice would you say to her or to her and her partner? Like, how would you help them make that decision?
I would say that in life, there are always hard things to every decision you make. If you stay home, it is true that the finances might be harder.
Mm-hmm.
If you go to work, it is true that having the time you need at home or with your kids is going to be harder or might be harder.
Mm-hmm.
And keeping up with things at home might be harder. So both are hard.
Yeah.
You're choosing your hard. So I would say that you have to think, what would be best for us? What are our goals? And then understand that within those goals and meeting those goals, working toward those things, it's going to be hard because either decision is going to have hard places in it. You just have to choose your hard.
I like that. Choose your hard.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. There was one other question I wanted to ask about that. So how did you and Robin make the decision for you to stay home? Because, I know you've been a stay-at-home mom for more than 30 years, but you said your oldest is 28. So that means there were some times when you were home without kids. How did you guys make that decision that you started out as a housewife and then became a mom?
Right. So I knew I wanted to stay home with our kids once we had them. My mom was mostly a stay-at-home mom. When I got a little older, she did go back to work. I had a real tough time when she did go back to work. That was hard on me. And there were some difficult dynamics of us staying home alone as kids, even though we were old enough. And so I did want to avoid that. And when we first got married, initially I was looking for a job.
Mm-hmm.
And a man in our church talked to my husband and said, look, if you know that Karen wants to stay home when you have kids, a lot of people start out working thinking they're going to stop working when they have the children. And then they've gotten so used to that paycheck, it is just too hard of an adjustment to go from having that money to not having that money, even if it's just being socked away in savings. So we decided that I would just stay home. I did a lot of volunteer type things, and I did keep myself very busy, but I didn't work.
Okay, good. I like that. All right. Okay, got that one. What was the hardest part for you as a stay-at-home mom?
Now I'm going to talk about from beginning to end.
Okay.
Overall, because there's the things, there's definitely times where you wish you would have had more of a break. It's very intense. I also homeschool. So those relationships are super intense with your kids when you're spending that many hours together. So there were some, times there where I definitely felt like I needed a bit of a kid break. But overall, I think my own personal struggle was because I was providing so much for our kids that I had the mistaken feeling that if I did everything perfectly correct, that they were going to have a wonderful, perfect life. They were going to make wonderful, perfect decisions. I took too much credit and too much responsibility over all of their life decisions and how their life would go and whether it would be easy or hard for them. And so I think I had to just honestly humble myself and understand that there's very little within my control on how life goes. And so that was a little bit hard for me because I think I was maybe getting a little bit of control issues going on, thinking that if I could just control it all, I could guarantee a positive outcome, if that makes sense.
And the one thing we do know is that kids don't come with an instruction manual, and there are no guarantees. You can do all the things that you know to do, and things don't always end up the way you would prefer.
Right.
Because they do get to a point where they make their own decisions.
Yes.
So, yeah.
And they're all different, and what they need is different. You can't always predict.
Yes. So I forgot to ask you this question when we came on a few seconds earlier, but what does self-care look like for you? Because I heard you say that there were times when you just felt like you needed a kid break.
Yeah.
What does self-care look like for you? And I think that's important that as moms, we do take care of ourselves.
Right. Well, self-care for me looks like I'm morning out to have coffee with a friend. And of course, when the kids are little and your husband's working, sometimes the best you can do is he's down there with the kids watching a movie and you're up having a bubble bath.
Mm-hmm.
I just think
Now, God, take me away.
Amen. And you have to think about things you enjoy doing. You have to be pouring into yourself, whether that be going out for a manicure and getting your hair done, or getting together with a girlfriend, going out shopping by yourself. Honestly, there were times when if he would take the baby, I felt like it was self-care to vacuum a floor.
Just to have that little moment of quiet where you just do something you've been wanting to get done in the house and not have to stop and, do something else.
Yes.
To it. Okay.
And you have to be okay with asking your husband for help or maybe trading babysitting services with a friend. It's okay that you need help, and it's okay to let him go ahead and take care of his own kids, even though he's been working all day, because
I'm going to back up for a second. Boom. Now let's back up. Now there was something you said about it's okay to ask for help. And I got to type that in. So there's that. It's okay to ask for help. And that asking, and I might not have spelled it right, but it's okay to ask for help. And that asking can come from your partner, family members, or friends.
Yep.
So there's that. But I think something else you said too, that it's okay to ask him to sit with his own kids.
Yes. It's not called babysitting. He's taking care of his own kids.
Exactly.
Amen.
I have to tell you once, when we were younger, I remember we were living in our old house and me and the husband were having words about something or another. I can't remember now what it was, but I do remember that I decided I was going to leave the house, and I grabbed my keys and my purse and was leaving. And he says, well, you better get a babysitter. And I said, I got one. And I went ahead and got in the car and left. And I was thinking to myself, why is it that they think it's babysitting when they're watching their own kids? No, it's babysitting when you're watching somebody else's kids.
Right.
So, yeah. But yeah, I think a lot of us need to hear that, though, that it's okay to ask him to sit with his own kids. And it is not babysitting.
No. And even though
when we're home.
Right, exactly. And even though he might have been working that day, he wasn't working necessarily with children. And so it is a completely different type of work. And you do need a bit of a break from what you were doing all day long, many times.
Yes. Yeah. I agree. Okay. All right. So, do you ever miss not being a part of the workforce?
I personally don't, because I like being able to run my own schedule. And so, there might be times or days where I thought, okay, I'm going to get a job. You stay home. But I think overall, I do just really enjoy being home. I enjoy taking care of my house. I do enjoy working. And so, but I do like to have my own schedule. So I think I prefer being at home.
Okay, I like that too, being on my own schedule. And I know my husband is home all the time now with me since he's retired as well. And sometimes he'll watch me doing things and he'll say, well, you're always busy, or well, why don't you rest, or why don't you do this or do that? And I'm like, I'm just doing what I do every day because there's a constant something that needs doing. And I don't think unless someone is there, like watching all the different pieces that you do to make and keep a home, they don't get it. But there's
Right.
always something to do.
That's true.
Okay, let's take a peek over here and see what's going on in the comments. Looks like they've been having quite a bit. So let's just check those out real quick. So let me see. Oh, looks like Carol from My Blessed Nest has joined us. So hey, Carol, it's good to have you with us as always. We've got a Wendy Hummel who's here from Ohio. And Nancy Whelan from St. Louis, Missouri. Nancy's one of our regulars. So Nancy, I'm glad you're getting to meet Karen. And then Danita M., she says she wished she could be a stay-at-home mom, but didn't have the choice. It's okay because now she has a job where she can be near her kids and she can't regret the past. No, you can't regret the past. You just have to do what you do with the hand you're dealt. So you can't feel bad. Or I think the comment you made earlier about giving yourself some grace
Absolutely.
is important. So Danita, you have to give yourself some grace for where you are in your life. You can only do the best you can do.
Right.
So don't beat yourself up there. And let's see, Allie Oakley, which makes me think of Annie Oakley, says hello. And Monica says that sometimes family can be your biggest critic. So now, Monica, let me ask you, are you a stay-at-home mom or want to be a stay-at-home mom and have had criticisms from family members? And I know I've watched several YouTube videos with some other homemakers who said that their family members had been their most critic.
I think they're the ones that feel the most comfortable to talk to us and say what they really think sometimes.
Oh, because they're family members. They feel like they can take what they want with impunity. Well, okay. Let's see. So Michelle says she worked outside the home for 13 years. Now she's been home for more than 20 years. Okay. And Nicole says she has an MBA and thought she would work outside the home, but situations and health issues changed her path. But she still uses her business education to run her home like a business CEO. Okay, I get it. There's lots of ways you can use that MBA in your home, managing your home quite a bit. So I like that, Nicole. I like that. Tammy says, although she worked quite a bit when her children were little, her heart always longed to be home. And then the time she did stay home, people said she should be working. It was very hard time for her. Do you want to say anything to Tammy about that, Karen?
I mean, all of us have to respond to the life that we're given. And I think, honestly, being a part of the United States, we are grown, we're made to believe that we can do whatever we want to do and that nothing's going to stop us. And it's just not true. There are situations that can't be avoided. We're all doing our best. We have to make the best decision for our family in the time period and what's happening. And just a mom that stays home is not necessarily a better mom than a mom that's working. And a mom that's working isn't necessarily a more productive or better mom and wife than someone who's not working. It's not about better. It's about choosing what's right for your family and providing for your kids and loving on your kids. And when you're doing that, I think you're successful.
Choosing what's right for your family.
Because it's true. If you're home, you're going to find people that think you should be working. And if you're working, you're going to find people that think you should be home.
So there we go. Choosing what's right for your family. Because like you said, there's going to be those opposite opinions, that kind of thing. Okay. Let's see. There was. Okay, I'm going to stop with the comments for a second because we can get lost in the comments, and I don't want to do that. So we'll come back to them. All right. So now, before I ask you specific questions about your YouTube channel, because yes, everyone, Karen does have a YouTube channel.
Do.
I want to ask you about mealtime. That's a big deal to me, mealtime. So was the family table a thing in your home?
Yes.
Meals together. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so I grew up with this, the typical American family. We ate supper together, and that was important to me as well. So that's always been something that we've done. We definitely have our supper meal together every night that is possible, and we eat fairly early. So that kind of is in between anything that might be an afternoon activity, anything that might be an evening activity. And we definitely have always sat around that supper table with the kids.
Okay. Now, how did you handle mealtime with so many different appetites? I mean, you had 6 kids at home at one time. So how did you manage that with so many different appetites?
Okay, so I do try to keep in mind what my kids like to eat and what they don't like to eat. If I'm serving a vegetable I know that they don't like, I used to allow them to choose a raw vegetable that they could eat in its place.
Oh.
So yes, I did do that because it's not really hard to put a raw vegetable on the table, and it's at least as healthy. And I tried not to make food a battle. And sometimes I've been successful and sometimes I haven't. And I did always try to at least get them to take a no thank you bite. But to encourage young moms, as people get older, they do develop a wider palate and they're willing to try more things. So I think try not to get too upset if their approved foods, so to speak, are a little limited. But I did try to kind of make sure, most of the meals would suit just about everybody. And I do have one daughter who has food sensitivities and allergies to food. And so oftentimes she did have to have something different. So it was a little bit easier for me because if I had someone who didn't like what I was making, I didn't mind if they joined her and liked what she was having.
Okay. I like the idea of the no thank you bite. And now when my kids were little, I tried to do something similar. It was that I knew they didn't like peas.
Yeah.
My one son hated them. So I didn't cook peas at all. My husband didn't care for them. He would eat them, but he could do without them. And 2 of the 3 kids didn't like them. So I just didn't cook peas. And they didn't care much for potato salad. I loved it. And hubby didn't care much for potato salad. So the only time I got it was when I went to family. My one sister is a potato salad maker. So then I would get some when we went to family events and she had made potato salad for the event. And Jason didn't like anything with pickles in it. And a pickle was anything that was green, inside food. If it floated, if you could feel the texture of it or he could see it, it was a pickle. So what I would do with my onions and green peppers and things like that is I would put them in the food processor and puree them. I put it in the meatloaf and that kind of thing. And they wouldn't see it, but they would get the flavor and they would eat it. He had a real thing with textures. But I was one of those old school moms. I felt like, look, if I put it on the table, I expect you to eat it.
Yeah.
But since I knew there were certain things that they didn't like, then I purposefully didn't cook those things. And they each could have one thing that they didn't like. Other than that, you got to eat what I cook.
Yeah.
So I tried that. And then if there was something new, then you had to at least try 3 bites before you could say you didn't like it. You had to take 3 bites. So you've got a no thank you bite. I'd have to say at least 3 bites. So like you said, sometimes it's a texture thing.
Right.
Sometimes it's just a new taste. And they have to adjust their palate to the newness of whatever that is. Okay, let's see. So do you have So are those the tips that you have then for someone with picky eaters, or do you have a tip for someone with picky eaters?
Well, some of the things that have helped me with my pickier eaters is a lot of times it tends to be vegetables, unless it's a texture thing. But so there were years where we grew a vegetable garden, and so the kids were out there growing vegetables, and they were much more willing to eat a food they grew.
Okay.
I do consult them when I am making up a meal plan. So I'll ask each kid, do you have one meal that you might like us to have this week?
Mm-hmm.
I also found it was helpful that they help prepare the food, cooking the food, because then they're taking more ownership in it and more pride in it, and they're more willing to try to eat it too. So those are some things that definitely helped us.
I like that idea. I like the fact that, like you said, when they're engaged in either preparation
Yeah.
or in growing the food, or for those of you that don't have a garden, but take your child with you to the grocery store and they help pick out vegetables in the produce section and that kind of thing. And then let them maybe have a little taste testing where they try different things like that. And also, as you said, their palate does expand as they get older too.
Yeah.
So I think one of the other issues, though, too, with picky eaters is that today's family eats out so much. They get used to fast foods, chicken nuggets, and those kinds of things, that real foods or nutrient-dense foods or homemade foods taste a little different. So they have to get used to those textures as well.
That's true.
Okay. So now I believe I watched one of your videos and it talked about your daughter ordering the groceries. Tell me about that.
She really loves her time on the computer. And
now, how old is she?
Oh, she's 15.
Oh, 15. Okay.
She's not little. I mean, she's physically little. She's a little peanut, but she just really enjoys planning things. And she's always the one reminding me of anything that I would have forgotten, whether it's my schedule or things that we need. So she goes around the house. She asks everyone if there's things that they would like to have on the grocery list, and she can put, and then I just go on after she's done and I edit. So sometimes, of course, I'm always adding to it, and once in a while I might subtract. If I see, 4 cartons of ice cream or something, or if we already have snacks in the house and we're buying more snacks, I'll usually say, hey, let's finish what we got before we start bringing in anything else. So I do round it out when she's done, but she really enjoys getting to do that. And she usually goes with me and picks it up and that kind of thing too.
That's another way of helping them take ownership, though, too, with the foods. And so if they're taking ownership, then they're more likely to eat what's prepared as a result of that too. I like that idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that idea. And then again, you can kind of extrapolate that same idea to taking your little ones to the grocery store with you and letting them pick out things in the produce aisle. So
definitely.
Okay. All right. Okay, so now let's talk about your YouTube channel.
Okay.
Because I want to talk about that because it seems like your YouTube channel focuses on homekeeping, not necessarily the homemaking, but the homekeeping. And I will say, I am surprised you don't have much on homeschooling since you've been homeschooling more than 23 years. Why don't you have much on homeschooling on your channel?
I do have a little bit on homeschooling, and the reason that I don't is I feel like that's kind of its own topic and it would warrant its own channel. So what happened was I actually did a homeschool video on choosing curriculum for middle school and high school that is still on my channel, and it got a huge response, and it got a lot of subscribers, but those people weren't necessarily there for the cleaning and the decluttering. And so I kind of had to make a choice on which direction I wanted to go in, and I chose to go more toward the decluttering, organizing, and cleaning and encouraging avenue. So if I get specific questions, I'll answer them, but I don't tend to make homeschool videos.
Okay, so here is your channel.
Yeah.
Right here. And this made her mom is you're going to teach them how to clean difficult areas in the home and also motivate them. And looking at some of the different titles that you have, I found them to be quite interesting. So before I get to talking about some of those different ones, tell me why you decided to start a YouTube channel.
So, I'm 56 years old and I've been a homemaker, as you said, for a long time. And I feel like I've definitely learned some things along the way,
Mhm.
and I have a burden to start pouring out all those things that I've learned, and also just to encourage other women and people, because there's men too, who
Yep.
are who are keeping their homes and who are prone to discouragement, prone to overwhelm. And I just kind of wanted to be someone who was a positive voice, to just keep reminding people that they could do this, and to kind of be their cheerleader along the way.
Okay. And I have to say, when I took a peek at your channel, not that this is the first time I've seen it, but just so many of your titles really rang a bell with me. So I thought you would really be good for our community here
Mhm.
on This and That with Denise. So the first video that I see up here, your welcoming video, is your organize and declutter, complete disaster, but super motivating, complete basement cleanup, and then a bonus clean with me as well. And then when I look down a little further, fighting those clutter habits, declutter with me, extreme decluttering, the one box challenge, which I know Michelle at my Everyday
Yeah.
Life hosted, cleaning, decluttering, organizing, etc. And then this one, realistic clean with me for when you feel overwhelmed. I just thought there was just so much angst that I could see on your face in the thumbnail and just other stuff. So now let me give you a few of the questions that I pulled just from watching several of your videos. In one of your videos, and I think it was the Summer Kitchen Extreme Clean. Where is that one? The Summer Extreme Clean, keeping up with a filthy house. It's this
Mhm.
one right here, because you were working pretty much in your kitchen. And one of the things that you talked about in that video was how important your morning routine was. Why is a morning routine helpful?
A morning routine is what grounds me. There are certain things that need to be done every single day: dishes, laundry, my bed. So, my morning routine, I want to make sure I empty the dishwasher, because then, as people get up and they're making breakfast, their dirty dishes go in the dishwasher. I'm not loading the dishwasher.
Mhm.
I can get my washing machine laundry switched over to the dryer. Then, when they're taking their clothes off and getting dressed in the morning, their dirty clothes can go right in the washing machine. So, a lot of my morning routine is actually to save work throughout the day. And it's also to kind of give me a clean slate. I'm making my bed, tidying my room so that I have a relaxing place to go to bed at night. I'm fluffing my pillows in the living room and just making sure there's no snacks or cups from the night before. And so it's definitely a reset. And then part of my morning routine is my own self-care. I like to be dressed to the shoes, and I like to have my makeup done and my hair done in the morning. And then it doesn't matter what comes up during the day. I'm ready to leave the house. I don't have to get ready to leave if I were to decide to do something later.
So, part of the morning routine you said is your own self care.
Yes.
And you said that includes being dressed to shoes, and that's part of the Fly Lady system, being dressed to shoes, and different little things like that. Why does that help give you a jump start on your day?
Because then it's not that feeling of being behind all day.
Okay.
It's the feeling more of being ahead all day. It's very satisfying
Mhm.
if I have my dishwasher emptied and someone's getting up to have their breakfast and they can put their plate and their cup in the dishwasher instead of in the sink.
Yes.
So a lot of that is really to save me time and to keep things from piling up. Laundry, with a big family, laundry piles up quite quickly. So if I can get laundry that's in the dryer out and separated, then people can bring it to their rooms, fold it, put it away, and I can keep those things rolling.
Okay, I like that. So let me ask you this. How has the summer changed your morning routine? Because I know my morning routine has changed, because one of the things I had to include now is going out and watering and
Mm.
watering the garden and harvesting whatever's ready to be harvested, as well as my morning yoga and my morning physical therapy practice and unloading the dishwasher and the swish and swipe and all of that. So how has your morning routine changed as a result of summer?
Okay, so I have, now that you're saying that, I have added watering my plants. That is probably the only thing I can think of that has really changed. My morning routine got a little easier because it used to include making sure papers are corrected and school schedules were written up. So I
Wow.
don't have to do that now. Instead, maybe I'm watering plants instead. But the main dishes, laundry, my bed, and getting myself ready for the day, that's me 365 days. In fact, on Christmas, when we're done opening presents,
Hmm.
I'm switching laundry. I'm making sure the dishwasher's empty. I'm getting dressed and doing my hair and makeup.
So you can do that on holidays.
I do it on holidays. Absolutely.
Okay.
I do a load of laundry on Christmas.
That I don't do. I do.
Yeah.
I don't do laundry on the weekend though, as a rule. I typically do it Monday through Friday or Monday through Thursday because I'm usually done by then. But okay, but that makes sense though. But with a large family though, I think you'd want to. Otherwise,
Yeah.
you end up, like you said, it can quickly get away from you.
Right. And I don't have a dedicated laundry room. So it shares room with my bathroom. And so I don't want a lot of baskets on the floor.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So now you've spoken quite a bit about your morning routine. Do you have an evening routine?
Okay. I have an evening routine, but not a lot of it includes me, which is the beauty
Oh,
of my all of my kids, in fact, I have it here. All of my kids have a supper chore. So tonight is Thursday. So my daughter Rachel sets the table. It was up to Francois to clear and wipe the table after dinner. Crecia loaded the dishwasher, washed extras. Yvonne was wiping down the counters, stove, and island. Ava was storing food and vacuuming the dining room. And then tomorrow, that person will vacuum the kitchen. So it's dining room, kitchen, dining room, kitchen. So the only thing I do at night is I take a hot shower.
ah,
And when showers are done, I start the dishwasher and I start whatever laundry was put in after people took their showers. And that's all I have to do for my night routine. The rest is all done by the kids because I'm not a night person. I'm a morning person. So you get to me to 7, 8 o'clock and I'm pretty much done.
yeah, I'm like that too. By 8 o'clock, I'm wiped out. So
Exactly.
you get most of your cleaning and all that stuff done in the morning? Like
Yeah.
your time for you to homeschool by 9:30, 10 o'clock, what?
So during the school year, I do my morning routine and then I homeschool. And then in the afternoon, when people are done school, I would do, pick a deeper cleaning project. And each kid also has one chore that they do every day. So that's true during the school year and during the summer. Now, in the summertime, I do like it that I can do my morning routine and then do my deep cleaning project. And then if we have anywhere fun that we're going to go, I have everything done.
Okay, all
Yeah.
right. That sounds good. So I was just going to ask if you delegated any of your homekeeping activities, but it's obvious that you do. I like the fact that you've got a chart, it's pretty much laid out. Do you have any grumbling or I had to do the vacuuming yesterday and all that kind of stuff? Or they pretty much just go down the list and do what they're supposed to do?
Now they pretty much go down the list and do what they're supposed to do because where it's printed up, it stays the same. They're being rotated throughout the different chores every day. If
Mhm.
I was actually just saying, hey, you set the table tonight, that I think I would get more of that, but
Mhm.
it's their routine too. And then I have a rule. I'll write up what chores I want done. I'll write up the amount of chores that I have kids that day.
Mhm.
And first come, first serve. Once you're up and you're dressed and you've had your breakfast and cleaned up, you pick your chore and you go do it. First come, first serve. So the first one up and ready is probably going to get the easiest chore.
Ah, I like that. There's
Little
a method
incentive.
there.
Yeah, a little incentive there.
Okay. Now, I've watched several of your cleaning videos, and you say that you don't follow the Fly Lady cleaning system, but the way you talk about your zones and different things, it sounds a whole lot like Fly Lady to me. So let's talk about that.
Yeah, so it is, I feel like I've been trained by the Fly Lady because I definitely did that in my earlier years. And
Mhm.
so I have a lot of those habits, they've stayed.
Mhm.
And I would say if she's in the kitchen, I might not be. I might be in the living room, or I might do one thing in a couple of different rooms. So
Mhm.
I'm not ascribing to her what zone she's in each week.
Mhm.
But if I get discouraged, depressed, lose my way, I'm overwhelmed myself, I do still get those emails, and I will go to those emails and see where she's at, sometimes for ideas when I'm just kind of stumped.
Okay. Okay. So once a fly baby, always a fly baby.
Amen. Absolutely.
Yeah, I like the fly lady process too. And it has just really been so helpful for me. I wish that I had known about it earlier, because when I was a young mom, boy, my house was a hot mess. I just could not seem to keep it together. It's
Mhm.
like the laundry was always a problem and the house was always a mess. And then we were a busy family too. My
Right.
husband coached. So a lot of times he got home late. It might be like 7, 8 by the time he got home. If it was his season was in, and he coached track and basketball. And then if he wasn't coaching, there was scouting they had to do.
Right.
So that meant, I'm home, and I was usually home by 4 o'clock. So I'm home early with the kids. You got to get dinner. But then there was always baseball or cheerleading or this or that. So sometimes they got home late. So when you think about all the things that kids had to do and that I had to do, because I had my own activities as well, I just felt like I could never stay on top of the house the way I wanted
Yes.
to.
Yes. I have less of a laundry pile with 7 of us in the house than I did when I had 5 of us in the house.
I think as we mature, we learn some things.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that's helpful.
Yeah,
Thank goodness we do learn some things.
that's for sure, because the energy doesn't get bigger with the wisdom.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. All right. So now let's dive into the homekeeping series that you've been working on. And it's been a lot of decluttering. And tell me what your plans are for this whole series. So, like in this video here, fighting those clutter habits, and then extreme cleaning, and just everything. So, and you've been decluttering all summer, but you're still not done. So, tell me what's going on here. Why this series?
Okay, so to be perfectly honest, I thought my house was decluttered. So
Okay.
if I had, say, Christmas pie plates, things I don't use at Christmas time, I would put them in a Rubbermaid box, put them in the basement. I knew where they were. And so I kind of thought I had it all sewn up. And my goal was I wanted to go into the basement and I wanted shelves lining the walls that I could categorize everything, that it would be easy to find, easy to reach.
Mm-hmm.
And when I went down there, that's when I realized that I had a big clutter problem. And so that's when I started working on the decluttering videos. That definitely motivates me. If I have to get a video up, it really helps me a lot. So, but it made me realize I did actually have a big clutter problem. So I don't necessarily have a ton of clutter in my living spaces.
Mm-hmm.
But I wasn't even going into the basement very often. I would ask somebody to bring something down.
So that hidden clutter.
Yeah, so that hidden clutter.
Yeah, that's one of the things I like to talk about when I'm talking about clutter, decluttering, is that hidden clutter. So, okay. So one of your videos talks about breaking the clutter habit. What's a clutter habit? Tell me about that. Maybe I could use some help there.
So for me, a clutter habit means it's just, where is it in your life where you're tending to accumulate clutter? So for me, I don't want anything in my living room because that's where I relax. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't want anything in the main living area. So my clutter habit is, if mail comes in and I don't deal with it right away, I'll go throw it in the drawer in the bottom of my filing cabinet instead of taking the 5 minutes to file it and decide what stays, what goes. Same thing with the basement. If I had company and I had some things that were in the way in a room they were going to be staying in, I might box it up, have someone take it down to the basement, and then it doesn't ever get dealt with. Or if I had extra kitchen utensils, rather than decide what I should keep and what I should get rid of, I would store them. So that is my clutter habit. My clutter habit is I don't want to see it. And if I don't see it, it must not exist.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. And you were on my street a little bit there when you were talking about boxing it up, but I would box it up and have my husband put it in the garage.
Mm.
We'll deal with it later. And so now I'm working on this great garage cleanup because there's a lot of stuff out there that we didn't deal with.
Right. And Michelle, actually from My Everyday Wife Life, she and I were talking, and she said she puts hers in the garage, but at least she has to walk through the garage every day to get out. So she sees it. But for me, it was in the basement, and I really didn't ever have to go down there.
Oh, I had to walk through our garage every day too. And my husband would say, honey, we really need to address this stuff. But I had so many other things to do. I was so busy with keeping the house clean and the YouTube channel, and then starting a different business. And, when my mom was still here, going over there every day to help take care of her. And, this other person that I had to take to the doctor, and just so many other things that, trust me, whatever was in the garage, I could have cared less about it because I had other things that took priority.
Right.
Now that I have more time to focus on those things, all that garage stuff was looming large. And so now I'm trying to deal with it and get it out of the house as well. So
see, this is something too that you just said, something I thought was really important. You weren't sitting on the couch eating bonbons and then clutter happened.
no.
You were doing very good things and things that were super important. And now you've, some of those things you're not having to do right now, and you're dealing with the clutter. Mm-hmm. And see, I just think we see the clutter and we automatically say to ourselves, I'm so lazy, I'm so messy, I'm such a bad homekeeper. And that's not true. There may be those out there who, you've identified that you're lazy and it's something you're working on. But for most people, it's situations like you're talking about where you were taking care of people that needed to be taken care of, and you genuinely did not have time to be dealing with that in that season of your life.
Exactly. And I'm glad you said that because I hadn't thought about that. I hadn't thought about all the things that I was doing. I just kept thinking, gosh, he really wants me to get all this stuff out of the garage. And the funny thing, he was saying today that, that like I was saying how, I had some things in the house that I needed to put here and there. And he was like, I'm being pushed out of my own garage. But I'm getting those things under control. We've been making lots of trips to the donation center.
Yes, me too.
So there's that. Now, here's a quote from one of your videos. Now, I think it's paraphrased. I didn't get it quite right, but you said something to this effect. Organize first, declutter the obvious, and then get down into more detailed decluttering. Tell us about that.
Yeah. So like I said before, my initial goal was I was going down to the basement to get things organized and get it up on shelves. And then I realized I had a big declutter problem. But for me to declutter, I can't just walk into a big mess. Mm-hmm. And I saw your garage declutter video where you were dealing with the shelves before you dealt with kind of what was on the surface, because you knew that was going to give you some encouragement to see that you got something done. And for me in my brain, like I need all the summer stuff together. I need all, I need all the kitchen stuff together. I need to see things together to even be able to process it with my mind. So, and I was talking about macro organizing and macro decluttering, and I don't know if I made that up or not, but what that meant to me was it's like the big stuff. Just get it over here together. Mm-hmm. And then as I'm getting it over there together, I'm pulling out stuff that's obvious that we don't need to keep. But mm-hmm. I know that's not all of it. I just don't necessarily have the mental energy to do it all at the same time. Mm-hmm. So I'm doing that one sweep and quickly decluttering as I get it up on shelves and organized and categorized. And then we'll go back over it all shelf by shelf and do a more detailed declutter and hopefully get rid of a good, I hope, 75% of what will be left.
Okay, I like that idea. And that makes perfect sense too, that you go through and get rid of the obvious and then get things categorized into various categories so that you see what you're dealing with and then you can kind of work through it. And you can deal with one thing at a time.
Yeah.
So I like that idea. Okay. Well, before I get to the next question, you also said something in one of your videos about an onion analogy. Tell me about that, peeling back the layers or something.
Yeah, so that's the same thing. At first, you're peeling off the skin,
Mhm.
And that for me is like what I said is I'm just, as I go through things and put them up on the shelves, when I'm seeing stuff that can go, it goes. I'm not going to wait. And then once I get it organized, we'll go through again. That will be the second layer, and then the third layer. And one of my viewers commented. She said, because she said she's doing that too, and she said, you know, as you dig into the onion, sometimes it makes you cry. And I was like, oh,
Oh,
that's so true. It's so
yes. Well, yeah, because when I was in the 15-minute decluttering video that I posted on Monday, just trying to just decide which dishes were going to go,
oh yeah.
it was just hard. And I was talking with my sister-in-laws, a couple of them. We were talking about, if you had 3 hours to get out of your house, what would you take with you? Because we were talking about those people in that condo who had 3 hours to evacuate the
Yeah,
other
yeah.
half. And it's like, so what do you take in 3 hours? And I mentioned that I would pick some of my pretty plates. And they were like, I wouldn't think about no dishes. But, it is hard. And everyone has something different that
Mhm.
they treasure.
Yep.
So that would be hard to do. Okay. Do you have a planner that you use to keep yourself
Yes.
organized?
Yep. I do. I love my planner. I use the Happy Planner.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
You can get that at Michael's and Joann's, right?
Yes, and there's always a 40% off coupon. And sometimes if you're in Joann's, they'll honor the Michael's, or if you're in Michael's, they'll honor Joann's coupons
Mm-hmm.
because they want the business. And I'm like complete with the stickers and everything.
Oh, yeah. You're a planner girl.
I love it.
Okay.
Yeah. I find it very relaxing. And again, it's very grounding. And with a lot of kids and schedules, I don't have the memory I used to. So I could use the written down schedules to keep me centered.
Mm-hmm. Well, I've got mine.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah.
I use the Inkwell Press.
Yeah.
And I don't do stickers anymore, though. I just find I don't have the time. I will fill out the mission board. And sometimes on the mission board, I'll put a few stickers or at least use markers and write things out in there. But I don't go through and do the stickers anymore because
Yeah.
I just can't seem to manage doing it all.
Right.
So that was one of the things that I eliminated. So, okay. One of your decluttering videos, you talked about the importance of completing your morning routine on video, even though the purpose of the video was decluttering.
Yes.
So tell me why you thought it was important to do that. I think I know, but I want to make sure.
Yeah. So in my life, the reason it's important is because if I get up and I head right to that, decluttering project, once I'm in the zone, I don't want to stop.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to be dog tired, and I don't want to come up to, now I've got a sink full of dishes and we got to make dinner, because I'm not going to have the energy to get to my morning routine. And I'm going to be super grouchy, to be perfectly honest,
Mm-hmm.
that everything is a mess. And I put it in the video because it's another area. I try to think of what areas do we as women beat ourselves up over. So if I watch somebody there saying all day declutter, and I've watched videos where they completely did their whole basement in what seemed like one day.
Yeah, 20 minutes is done.
Seriously. And that's never going to be my life. I have like 15 videos already on my basement. And I just wanted to show, that I get it, that decluttering isn't the only thing in your day. So I want people to see that, so they go, oh yeah, I did like 6 things before I tried to tackle that project that I only had an hour for.
Well, exactly. There's just so much. Like they say, a woman's work is never done. And it's really true. There's always something to do. And I like the fact that you did show that, yeah, you're going to work on decluttering this, but you're going to do this first.
Yeah.
So, okay. Now, I always feel like laundry is the never-ending story.
Mm-hmm.
I am convinced that my husband generates as much laundry as a 2-year-old, especially in the summer.
Yeah.
And particularly when my kids were little, I struggled with laundry. So now, how do you manage laundry with 7 at home now? You
Yes.
and 5 kids.
So I we did just buy a new washer and dryer, and I looked and I bought the biggest cubic foot or however they measure them I could find. So that was step one, is having like a commercial size bin in my washer and dryer. So what I do is, before I had the big one, but every morning you get dressed and you put your dirty clothes in the washing machine. I don't separate clothes unless it's delicates or something like that. And I'm even trying to move us away from buying whites so that I don't have to worry about graying whites. So everything goes in that washing machine. And before I had the bigger washing machine, I would go ahead and do a load in the morning, and it would get switched over into the dryer. And then at night, when people take showers, they get themselves dressed, everything goes in the washing machine. And then before I go to bed, I start the washing machine. So what we normally do now with the bigger one is I can do one load a day, and I do that at night. And then in the morning, I will separate laundry. So I have a laundry basket that has the dividers. So each one has a section. I'm literally throwing their laundry in their section, and they know to pick it up, take it to their room, fold it, and put it away. I don't fold laundry. I don't match socks unless they're my own. Everybody gets their own, and they handle their own. And then my oldest daughter folds all the towels and cloths and puts those away for me. And then once a week, everybody, so the girls are on Thursday, boys are Friday. Once a week, they get a break from their normal chore that I give them so that they can deep clean their bedroom and have their sheets washed. So that would be those days. I quite often, especially with the girls, because I have so many girls right now living at home, that would be an extra load of laundry. And that's how we keep up with laundry. So yeah, if they have something that's delicate, then that has to be held aside and we have to wash it separately. Other than that, and I try to get people to look at labels when they're shopping and not be buying that stuff.
I find it interesting that you just throw everything in together. Now, my son, my youngest son, he does that too. My older son, I don't think he even does laundry. I think his wife does it all. But my youngest son, he does the laundry at his house. And he said he just throws it all in. And I'm like, that's not how I taught you to do laundry. He said, that's how it works. He's like, he works full time.
Yep.
And on the weekend, he's trying to get laundry done. And, it's like, it all goes in together. And I still sort laundry even today. Like I was doing laundry today, and I still sort lights, darks, whites, towels and sheets and all that kind of thing. But I do realize that the millennials, the younger ones, are not doing that as well. And then I'm going to pop up this one. Michelle said she changed from doing laundry once a week to every day except for weekends. And I have to agree with Michelle. I like doing laundry every day. Now, my husband would be like, well, why do you have to do it every day? I'm like, because I don't want to spend the weekend doing laundry.
Oh.
Doesn't get away. And then Sapphire Gold says she needed this life. She's struggling with her children and keeping her home in order. So do you have any comments for Sapphire?
First of all, you made my day by saying this is helpful to you, because that's definitely the goal. I think that you said you're struggling with your children in keeping the home in order. So I'm guessing your kids are on the younger side. And I just think you need to give yourself grace. It's obvious to me by your comment, you're doing your best. And I think you need to let your best be okay and not to beat yourself up. Just keep going. We've all been there. Denise and I were just talking about how, we had years where we had our messes, and, it's okay. And if you can get some morning routine, evening routines going for yourself to take care of whatever the things are that are most important to you, that bother you the most, that might help you feel a little better too.
I found that the routines really do help, because for me, the routines, you just get up and you just do it. It's just automatic. You don't have to think about it. It's like you get up, you get yourself together, you get dressed. You have those few moments where you get up before your children are up. Sapphire could be very helpful. Get up before your kids are up, get yourself together so that you've cared for yourself.
Yes.
When they're up, you can care for them. But then you get that daily routine where you have your, load that dishwasher before you go to bed, or wash those dishes before you go to bed, so that when you come down in the morning, you've got a clean kitchen. And I know sometimes before you go to bed, you are absolutely positively exhausted. But it feels so good to walk into a clean kitchen first thing in the morning, and
That's
you
true.
don't have to wash dishes or clear off a table or clear off a space to make breakfast and feed your family. So that it's just so helpful. Routines just kind of help you get it done. And the more you have things in routines, the quicker you can get it done because you get used to it. So
Yes.
yeah, that's very, very helpful.
And that season won't last forever, I promise.
Yes, it is very, very fleeting. It's doesn't seem like it's going to be fleeting when you're younger, but trust me, it is fleeting. Um, I'm trying to hurry up because I know we're running out of time. Um, just a quick decluttering question. I noticed that you had quite a few electronics and cords and books in one of your decluttering videos. What suggestions do you have on how to handle this kind of clutter?
So what I have in my dining room, I have a sideboard hutch that you normally put dishes and placemats in.
Mhm.
And in one section, I bought one of those metal, you slide laptops in it, and it holds 4 laptops. And so the kids slide their laptops in, and there's a cord strip thing, and they can plug their laptops in right there. And then I have another smaller one that's for phones.
Mhm.
Slide their phones in there, and there's also a charging strip. I ran the charging strip into the back of it. My husband had to make a hole in the back so we could do that. And then the doors are shut and you can't see it.
Okay, okay. I know I've got some electronic stuff that I've been working at too. Like I got an iPad that doesn't work anymore. I got a bunch of cords and stuff that I probably just need to go in and just do some purging with that too. I'm going to ask you about one more video, and then we're going to do our lightning round.
Okay.
So the one other video that I wanted to ask you about was the one where you were talking about being overwhelmed, and it was this one.
Yeah.
Realistic clean with me for when you feel overwhelmed. And in this particular video, like when I saw the thumbnail, I mean, the look on your face, I could just feel the angst and, in that video. But you did a lot of quoting from the Bible in that particular video, which I had not noticed in your other videos. You always in your videos with God loves you.
Yeah.
I love you too. But this one was a little bit different from how you normally talk about your faith in your videos. Why was this one so different?
It was just something I really felt like God wanted me to do. Like I felt prompted.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like 2020 and 2021, boy, it's just been so hard with having a pandemic, and there's been social unrest, and people have been so angry, whether you mask or don't mask. And we've had intense racial struggles that have really, there's just been terrible things happening over the last couple of years. And I honestly don't think that we have realized as a culture how much that has affected us.
Mm-hmm.
And I think many people are struggling, but they don't quite know why. Maybe they're extra tired. Maybe they're extra depressed or anxious because there's just constant bad news coming at us every day. And it's not just, I don't know, it just seems very, very escalated. And I just really felt like there were women out there or people in their homes who needed encouragement. And I felt like I have, hope that I found in my faith. And I really just wanted to make sure that I don't forget to share that. And it's not something, like you said, it's not something I do every day. It's something I do every once in a while. That one was very pointed to the point that there were some people who were upset about it that aren't people of faith. And I
A
understand.
couple comments that people had made.
And, I try to be understanding about that and try to put myself, it's hard for me to put myself in their place because I grew up in a family that had faith in Jesus, that understood the Bible, read the Bible. And so I had to just, one person in particular said, it just would have been nice to have a warning. And I thought, well, okay, that's fair. I'll do that next time. But I just really felt like there's just so many people right now that need hope and encouragement. And hopefully that's what that video was able to do.
Okay. All right. So now let's go for the lightning round. All right. So I'm going to ask you a question and you got that quick to answer it. Okay. Downton Abbey or The Crown?
I have never watched either one of them, but I'm going to guess it would be Downton Abbey.
Oh my goodness. They are both amazing.
Okay. I'm going to put it on the list.
But I would have picked Downton Abbey, but anyway, they're both amazing. Okay. Lemonade or iced tea?
Lemonade.
Cats or dogs?
Right now, cats. Used to be dogs.
Okay. Dishwasher or microwave?
Dishwasher.
Monopoly or Scrabble?
Ooh, Scrabble.
Animal crackers or goldfish?
Animal crackers.
Okay, boom, that's it. That's the lightning round.
That was fun.
All right. Well, you know what? I really want to thank you for joining us today. Let me look to see if there's a quick something that I need to share with you. And because I promised you would only be on an hour. So Sapphire says thank you. She appreciates the comments that we gave her. Michelle says she's throwing all her laundry in together now too. How do I establish the routines with the children? So do you want to take that?
Sure. I think that you could try to make it fun with music. There were times when I would say, okay, we're gonna take 10 minutes and we're gonna grab everything that is yours and run it to your room, and we would huddle together and then we'd say go, and we'd have a timer and I'd be shouting out 5 more minutes, 3 more minutes. You can make it fun. Another thing that I do with the children trying to establish their routines is the things I want them to do that they don't want to do always happen before the things they want to do. And that helps a little. So, hey, what we're going to do right now is you're going to clean your room. When you're done with that, you can watch a show. Mm-hmm. And they don't want to clean the room. Okay, well, the show's not going to happen. Or can I have a snack? Sure, as soon as you clean that room, you can go, whatever they ask for. And sure, as soon as you fill in the blank with what you want. But I think, go ahead.
I like that because you're not saying no.
Right.
You're saying yes.
Absolutely. Soon
as. Yes, I like that.
Yes. And then I think the more that it becomes a habit for them, the easier it is. So it's hardest at the beginning. So writing down maybe start with one thing, add one thing at a time. And when they have that and they're not really, it's just a habit for them, then perhaps add one more thing and do it that way rather than changing their whole world overnight.
And I really like the Fly Lady process, Sapphire. I like Fly Lady Cat. So look up Fly Lady Cat. I like her process, the way she explains the Fly Lady system. But the biggest things is that you establish ways of managing your home to make it easier for you. Like we both have a routine that we do every day. So for myself, I get up, I do my yoga, and then I get dressed to however I'm going to get dressed for the day. And then I unload the dishwasher, I make the bed, and I start a load of laundry. I do that every single day. Oh, and my daily swish and swipe in the bathroom. I do that every single day so that I know that I'm going to get that done. And then that just kind of keeps the house tidy and keeps things down to a dull roar. And as there's other things that I need to do in the house, I add those things in. And you can establish routines for your children that are going to be very similar to the routines for yourself. They're going to get up at about the same time every day. They're going to get up and hit the bathroom, brush their teeth, get dressed, that kind of thing. They're going to have breakfast, and then either they're going to go to school or they're going to do some things at home, or maybe they're going to play in their playroom, depending upon how small they are. And then as you pick up some different little things throughout the day, you teach them to help you with that. So, but yeah, there's things you can do, but check out Fly Lady Cat. I like her process. Is there someone else that you think you would want to direct her to that has more of the mom stuff?
I'm not sure. I'll have to think about that. Maybe I could put it later in the comments. One other little secret I'll give you is I used to pick at about 3 o'clock. Of course, I'm very tired at 3 o'clock. And I used to say to the kids, look, Mom's going to clean for an hour. You have two choices. You can stay downstairs and help me clean, or you can go in your room and play while I clean.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then, of course, they went up in their room. I cleaned for 20 minutes and took 40 minutes off. Let's throw that out there.
Like it. Okay. Let's see. Michelle likes this new series. And today's speaker is excellent. Like that, Michelle. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Michelle.
And Michelle says her situation before she started doing her parents' laundry. I must have missed the situation. Sapphire's always overwhelmed. Hope talks about is to hear about that fleeting time day to day can be very tiring. Yes, it can be. So, okay. I think we've covered everything. Is there anything you'd like to add?
Let me just check, because I know we talked about something and now my mind is blank.
Okay.
I want everyone here to know that all of us have struggles. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times it can feel like you're the only one struggling, and that it's because you're just not doing it right. And I need you to take that burden straight off your shoulders. And I hope you give yourself grace. If your friend were to talk to you and say, look, I'm so overwhelmed, I'm getting nothing done, I don't know what to do, you wouldn't look at them and go, well, you obviously stink as a homekeeper and a homemaker, and that's why you're struggling. But that's what we tell ourselves. Yeah. There's just help and encouragement out there. It's what I love about YouTube. It's how I got into cleaning videos, was watching cleaning videos, and how much it motivated me. But it's super important not to fall for the comparison game.
Yes.
Watch channels that encourage you and make you feel like you can, not channels that make you feel like you'll never attain a house that is that perfect. Just no. We need to encourage one another and lift one another up, and you need to lift yourself up by giving yourself grace and stop beating yourself up.
Definitely. And so here's Carol saying she liked how you handled the kids, either helping you or going upstairs, which allowed you a little bit of peace and quiet once you got your work done.
Yeah.
So I like that as well. So people that are here on the chat, if you could tell us your aha moment, put it in the chat, or if you're watching on the replay, put it in the comment section. We'd like to know what you got out of today's session. I want to thank Karen for being such a wonderful, wonderful guest. She was amazing.
Thank you.
Amazing. I'm not just saying that. And also want to invite you guys to take a look at my last video, my 15-minute power declutter. Be sure to check out Karen's channel at This Main or Mom and see all the different things she's got going on. Also, I've got my Christmas in July series that I want you guys to check out. First one comes up on Saturday. And of course, be sure to visit our sponsor, Apron Diva. So in the meantime, this is Denise Jordan saying you are not done yet. Click on the link in the comment section below and check out another of my homemaking stories. And I will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.